Welcome to Knife Day 2023, and we're going to cover 5 new models of Civivi knives that I've never talked about so far on the channel. We're also going to see if they've actually updated the Cogent in a significant way, and if you pay attention, we're also going to be doing a giveaway. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me say this. I only asked for a few knives with wood handles for them to send me for the Knife Day sale, and they sent me all 6 of the ones that I gave options for. So I want to say a huge thank you to Civivi for doing exactly that. Big thank you. Also, by having all 6 on the table, it made me realize just how much I enjoy wood handles. I didn't just appreciate until now just how nice it is to have a unique knife that is only for you. If you buy a knife with a wood handle, the grain, the color will be unique to your knife like a fingerprint. And that is something we don't talk about enough, is when you make a knife yours. And it could be a knife, it could be a wallet, it can be whatever it is, but having something be yours, I think has real inherent value and gives some amount of joy. So in addition to being a tool, they can be something that also you enjoy quite a bit. So that's really awesome. Now, the first knife we're going to talk about is one I've already reviewed on the channel, and that is going to be the Civivi Cogent. And it's worth noting too, because the Cogent, most of their varieties will be on sale 25% off on Civivi's website. So this is one example, which has the micarta. It's a newer model. And here's the thing. When I reviewed this before, I mentioned that the detent was a little soft. Not anymore. Even if I try to fail this knife, it's very difficult to do so. They have clearly improved the spring tension on the button lock, and it really shows. In fact, it's now even in some ways better than these other button locks. That's just how much they've improved the spring tension. And that is true with the micarta version, and it's also true with this wood handled version as well. The improvements are definitely notable. So I'm glad that they're doing that. All these new models, probably all the ones you'll buy from Civivi's website, will have this improved detent. Very cool. Now, speaking of the Cogent, before we go on, I will be doing a giveaway for this Cogent with a couple other things in the box, and you can enter that giveaway on my website, maxlvledc.com. There will be a vibrating little link at the top to that giveaway, and you'll be entered to win one of 2 prizes. So one will be this, and the other one will be mentioned in tomorrow's video. Now, all the stuff you need to fill out in that form, we'll just go over real quickly. Your first name, your email, your identifier from YouTube, so if I can verify that you're a follower. And you'll also be giving me a 4-digit code of your creation, so that when I email you if you win, you know that it's me and no one's going to scam you. That is something that has happened in the last 3 giveaways to the point where it was like a real disaster. So I don't want that to happen anymore. I don't want to see people getting taken advantage of by scammers anymore, and I think this is probably the best solution that I could come up with. So that's cool. The other thing I want to mention about this giveaway and all other future giveaways is that they will be international, meaning that no matter where you are in the world, I will pay what is necessary to get it to you. Now, you might have to pay on your end if that's something that your country says, but I will get it there. Okay, that's purely because you guys are amazing, and using the links and all of the things you've done to support the channel, I cannot thank you enough. So just a huge thank you. I think this is the least I can do, and I'm just so glad to be able to support everyone from all over the world who follows the channel. All right, let's move on from the Cogent for a second, because we've already talked a lot about that knife in the past, and so have a lot of other people. I have 5 other knives to get through, so let's go ahead and talk about them. Starting with the Conspirator. This is a crowd favorite from a lot of YouTubers, and I think that's for very good reason. It is made in Nitro V blade steel. This particular one, of course, has wood handles, and in fact, I'm going to put all the stats here to just save us some time. They've done an amazing job on this knife. Now, it does have a reversible pocket clip, which I appreciate because button locks should all have reversible pocket clips. It has jimping all the way around the back, especially at the corner, which is exactly what all flipper tabs should have. And it has a nice fuller, and the fuller allows me to reverse flick the knife, but it also allows me to thumb flick the knife actually pretty well without any issues, because it's far enough from the edge I actually can get in there. So really, really nice job on this knife. I think this is a great kind of like one and done kind of knife from Civivi. It has a nice blade length that's going to be useful for all kinds of different tasks. It has excellent action and fidgetability. I'm still on the edge of whether I like that word or not, but yeah, it is that. And because, and I'll say this again, because it has flush sets for the pocket clip, it will make it enable to be used with the titanium clip that you can get in the aftermarket. And honestly, I think it looks a heck of a lot better when you're talking about finish. So really, really nice when it comes to this particular knife. So next one on the table is the Chevalier. You know what I love the most about this knife is that when people were initially reviewing it, they weren't exactly sure how to pronounce it. And maybe I'm still pronouncing it wrong, but that's the pronunciation that I immediately thought it was when I saw the word. So I was so entertained by the fact that there was so many different ways people pronouncing this knife. I'm sorry, that was just one thing that I really, really enjoyed. This is another button lock knife, this time with a sheep's foot blade. Really, really, really well done on this. 14C28N blade steel, reversible pocket clip, as you can see. They've done a great job with weight reduction, as they always do with their steel frames. And just the action is absolutely excellent. It has a fuller for reverse flicking the knife. It does, however, not have an easy time with the thumb flick, not like the Conspirator. So there is a bit of a difference there. I'm not sure exactly why that is, but I have a hard time doing that. And I'm pretty decent with a lot of the different opening mechanisms. So just something to be aware of. It's not going to matter to most people, but what I do like about this is going to be an excellent draw cutting knife, and a lot of the tasks that we face day to day are actually going to be draw cut. So really, really good knife and excellent full flat grind on this. Cannot say enough. This is going to be a great choice. It has a reversible pocket clip, and just check out those wood handles, man. Whew. I love it. I love that the little change in the grain structure. Every knife will be different. Every wood handled knife will be a little bit different, and that is just the coolest thing ever. Now, when it comes to wood materials, I think that probably my favorite one is this. Now, I can't even remember the name of this wood material. I'm actually going to put a list of all the information for it right here. It just looks gorgeous. I don't think this camera does it justice in any way, shape, or form. Just a phenomenal finish on this. And it just, I don't know, it softens the fact that this is such an aggressive blade profile. It really does. It's just a really good looking knife. And a lot of these new knives, they have a clean, like solid steel or solid black, like blackened or I think that's black stonewash, maybe stonewash Civivi emblem. Just a really good way to indicate who makes it without having a bunch of branding. Something that Civivi is known for, and I absolutely adore, is the fact that there's no branding. There's nothing written on the blade that you can see. I think you can see just they hide the 14C like really close to the blade. I mean, you never even notice it. It's so good the way they do their detailing. I just love it. And this is a very good action for one of their frame locks. In fact, the Knox, which I tried, I wasn't all that impressed with because the action wasn't that great. But this actually has great action on the frame lock. So really, really good job. An interesting blade profile, around 3.5 inches of blade length. And yeah, for those people that kind of want a little bit of everything, an aggressive spear point style profile, but you can still put your thumb behind it and press into the cuts if you're doing work with wood and other things. So really, really nice. I have to say, this is a surprise. I kind of wrote off frame lock knives from Civivi because of my experience, and this actually restores my faith in seeing more from them. I want to see if they're able to tune all others the same way this one is done. Now, the next two knives are probably the biggest surprise on the table. I kind of thought these were a little bit more on the expensive side. I kind of avoided them, and now that I have them, I feel like an idiot because they are so over the top. Way, way better than I could have expected. So the first one is this right here, and it is a bolster lock. It is phenomenal with the wood handles. They have a bunch of different G-Mascus and other handle materials, but for me, the wood just works, especially with the black wash. It just fits. This is a flipper tab only knife, and it's just elegant. It's just super freaking elegant. Absolutely adore this knife. Cannot say enough how well they have executed it. Now the detent is pretty good, to say the least, to the point where you kind of have to make sure you pass. Yeah, you see it drops. You just have to make sure you press the lock bar all the way out. Once again, we have flush screws here, and that's usually not an issue because they have flush screw, inset screws, which is really helpful. It does sometimes get caught right there at the end of the pocket clip, but my preference, as you'll see in the last one, is to use the titanium pocket clip in knives that I really enjoy. And so for that purpose, you kind of need it to be flush. Which brings us to the last knife on the table. This thing was made for me. This is called the Voltaic. I cannot say enough at just how much this, how do I describe it? Sometimes when you get a knife, you go, oh, that's really cool. And then sometimes you get a knife and say, this knife was made for me. And that's the feeling I get when I use this knife. In addition to having a great blade profile that I really like, with a forward finger choil that I can actually use, and multiple deployments, the handle feels like it's made for my hand. It really does. It literally just molds into my hand. Now, I have upgraded the clip to a titanium pocket clip, and as you can see, even though this is steel and this is titanium, they match incredibly well. But I cannot say enough at how good this knife actually is. The detent is probably the best flipper tab detent I have seen from Civivi. I literally could not get this knife to fail. That's how good it is. This is the way I would measure all other future flippers, is as being perfect. Maybe a little bit on the firm side, but it's basically as good as it gets, in my opinion. And look at how nice this is with the wood handle grain. Yikes. I mean, elegance for sure. And coming in under $80, obviously not with the titanium pocket clip, I can't say enough. That is impressive. 14C28 blade steel. This is my knife. This is actually a knife that immediately went into the rotation after I unboxed it and played with it a little bit. It's exactly what I'm looking for with it for an elegant flipper knife. I'm usually not a flipper tab person. I usually like thumb studs, but just it's so good. I can't even, this is my knife. It is absolutely the knife on the table for me, for sure. Not to say that I don't like these other knives, because they are really, really, really nice as well. But if I was going to pick one on the table, I think my favorite has to be the Voltaic. Everything from the way it sounds to the action and the ergonomics, I'm just absolutely in love with it. So that's pretty much it for today, and tomorrow we're going to do another video on a bunch of other Civivi knives that I got for the first time, worth watching. And one of those I'm also going to be giving away. You do not have to enter the giveaway twice. So just a reminder, and I'll say it tomorrow, if you've already entered the giveaway today, you don't have to worry about doing it tomorrow. I'm going to be trying to keep it as much as possible to like one entry per person anyway, by having the association with your YouTube name. Okay, so what do you guys think? Would you buy a wood handled knife? Is that your preference, or do you prefer a different handle material? Do you prefer micarta? Do you prefer G10? Do you like aluminum handle scales? This is one of those things that is definitely preference, but for me, I think that I've fallen in love with wood in general because every single one of them is unique. As always, thank you guys for your time, and we'll talk again soon.